it's been kind of a bluesy week, but I'll get more to that a little bit later. Hope everybody recognized that tune. I'm thinking about doing a lesson on it, but that's most of it right there. Figure it out. What has been going on? This is June 8th, Friday. Things are winding down. Fun week here at Totally Guitars. Had a chance to put out some of, once again, I'm sort of getting on in a self-indulgent mode and mostly putting out some of my favorite songs. Neil Young, Tell Me Why. This is a song that had a lot of influence on me, especially working on my ear training, because when this album came out in 1970, I was a young teenager and working on trying to get my ears really tuned, and stuff like Southern Man, Don't Let It Bring You Down, and Tell Me Why were songs that my buddy Mike and I worked really hard on to try to figure out what the heck he was doing. Didn't help particularly in that one. They was slightly out of tune, or low, I believe, a little bit low in pitch. And that was a new thing for us. So, also we looked at, uh-oh, you need a cable for this. Another one that has been a long time coming here at Totally Guitars. Finally put together Steve Winwood's arrangement of the Old English classic, John Barleycorn Must Die. And I know some people out there, it was kind of neat to see the comments. A lot of people were not too familiar with the tune, but it is a great focus picking kind of song. So that was from, of course, the Traffic album by the same name, when Traffic had just become a trio again after pretty much disbanding. Steve was going to work on a solo album, and when it came time to hire some help, he hired his buddies from Traffic, Chris Wood and drummer extraordinaire. Anyway, what else? There was another, and then stepped into David Bowie's kind of follow-up song, Starman, is what sort of kept him alive after a couple of years of languishing in nothing as big a hit as Space Oddity. So we looked at Starman as well this week. That was a kind of fun one. And then I had an interesting fly on the wall with a follow-up lesson with Ed working on Take 5. So I did see requests out there that people were saying, hey, could we get the music to this? I will try to just attach a chart to it. I'm sure there's no reason why we can't do that with fly on the wall lessons. Pretty simple. So I'll whip that up. Hopefully that'll be on next week's agenda. If I forget, remind me. We had a visit from Jack at Guitar Showcase following up his story on Guild guitars, and that was again, like, mostly relatively new stuff. And I hope you guys have had a chance to check out my buddy Steve Rose's column, The Listening Post, because sometimes he's going to have articles on bands you're pretty familiar with, Fleetwood Mac, The Mermen, maybe. And sometimes he's going to catch you off, you know, with somebody you haven't heard of. So I hope you've had a chance to listen to a little bit of Calvin Keyes, his latest commentary. And we're having a lot of fun putting these together, and I'm learning a lot about, there's just always more to learn. So that's always kind of a cool thing. And I do have one more thing I want to tell you about this week that happened that nobody probably knows about yet, except the inner circle. And that is, I had a particularly fun visit with, here at the Las Gatas Speedway. Had a particularly fun visit with one of our esteemed members from Totally Guitars, somebody that's been around since the beginning, came to visit and take a few lessons, and that was Beaker. Now, he's been a well-traveled guy and visited Jorma Kaukonen's Fur Peace Ranch a while ago, and I was honored that he came down here and we worked on a few things. And one of the things that we worked on was that thing that I played there back at the top. And he was surprised to find out it was as easy as it was, because there were a couple of tunes he thought, we mostly did some theory stuff and other things, but there were a lot of things, on the last trip here he said, I gotta go away with a new song or two. And we looked at two things. That one, Outside Woman Blues, was what I was playing there at the top, Eric Clapton, the tune that Cream did back in their early incarnation. And then we also talked about some country blues picking. A song that he thought was going to be too hard to play. Then when I asked him if he'd done Shades of Funk in some of my other country blues lessons, he said, you have everything you need now to play this song. It's a done deal. And we walked away with playing, working on, well, I sent him away to figure it out on his own. Kelly Joe Phelps' tune that he calls Country Blues, and it's by an old guy named Doc Boggs. Pretty different. But anyway, so hopefully we got some video from that, and I will, as editing time allows, we'll try to share some of that with you. But I just wanted to put a heads up out there that that I had a fun week with Beaker, and if anybody else is ever traveling through Northern California, get a hold of me, and we can usually arrange to have a visit here at the cabin, lesson or two, and it was really fun. So that's it. I got to check out of here right now. I got a lot going on this weekend. Wow. Something I used to teach people all the time 25 years ago. You'd never, I got to get back to that one. Country blues puts me in the mood to play stuff like that. Makes me want to play basketball too. Okay, that's it. I'll be back next week. Enjoy your weekend, and enjoy life here at Totally Guitars.